she's collecting these men like infinity stones. Baby, let's go. I don't like Kale, and I don't want to read a whole book from his perspective. So we'll get to that, I guess. I don't understand where the plot went, or like, was there ever a plot? It doesn't seem like it. Hey guys, it's Amelia, but not the pilot, just Amelia. It is time to talk about this series. So, 5-part series. Welcome to part... If you haven't watched the other parts, they will be linked up here and down below. Also, I will be releasing the next part next week. So stay tuned for that. Also, there will be spoilers in this video. I will be heavily in-depth discussing plot points and things that happen. So if you don't want to be spoiled for the Throne of Glass series, please leave now. Please. Don't complain. Just don't complain in this video and say that you got spoiled. I'm telling you now. I warned you. Well, let's get into the video. Hello, it is February 21st. I just finished Assassin's Blade and I loved it. Also, I just filmed this entire section and then my phone deleted it. So here we are again, take 2. I have my iced tea, I have the next book, and let's talk about it. Review of Assassin's Blade. I very much like this. I think this might be my favorite one so far, just because it's so concise. This is what her writing needs. Her writing is too long. There's too much that I don't care about. But this was like, they were cute little backstories. Like, information that we didn't really need, but was like fun to hear about. Like, the story of stealing the black horses or whatever was fun. We got some assassin Aelin, Selena going on, which was fun. Like, we never got to experience that because the second that she is starting the story, she's not really an assassin anymore. She is enslaved, and then she becomes King's champion, which is not an assassin, really. I don't know. Like, this was fun. I thought this was fun. I would have liked if there were a few more stories of, like, younger stuff before, like, just her going on a mission by herself, like maybe her first mission when she's 10 or whatever, or something like that. That would have been fun. But I did really like these little stories that we got. It introduced us to Sam more, it explained the whole tragic backstory better. Like, I really love Sam. By the end of it, I really loved Sam, and it was so cute, and I'm so sad about that. But now I think this book is gonna hurt more, because I swear there's like Sam stuff in this, but I don't really remember. I do feel like the Sam Selena love was a little bit too fast almost, because it was essentially the 5 chapters of the book. They do this pirate thing, and then he's like, I'm in love with you. I've always been in love with you. And I just, maybe I'm a cynic, but I just feel like that's just doesn't make sense. I feel like there should have been a little more push and pull maybe or something, because she's also just like, you right, I'm in love with you too, let's go, and then they move in together, which is like, okay, whatever, sure. That moved really fast, but alright. I am going to read Queen of Shadows next. I actually own this copy, and I still have a bookmark in here. I made it up to page 200 out of 647? Jesus Christ, I don't want to read that. That's too many pages. That's just too many. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason. There's no reason. But, at least I'll have good protection when I'm on the subways. If anyone gets too close, I'll just hit them. The things that I remember happening. I remember her going to the vaults with Kale, maybe, or something like that, and getting into fights and stuff. I don't really know why. I feel like that's probably why I stopped reading this, because there was a lot of, like, nothing happening. Where's the plot? I don't know. I remember her meeting Dorian, and he is the devil incarnate and attacks her, and she's like, oh, goddamn. I feel like Kale is living in the sewers or something like that. And, I feel like Aedion dies, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe there are a couple interactions. I almost feel like maybe Aedion meets Rowan, or I wanted Aedion to meet Rowan, because I feel like they would clash a lot. And I don't remember Rowan being in the story, but like, 600 pages. Maybe he does show up. Who knows? Other predictions for this book, I'm thinking maybe she will get revenge on Arobin and or Flamel? What was his name? Farnell? Flannel? I'm hoping she gets revenge on them. I think that'll happen in this book, but I really have no idea I just have absolutely no idea like where this plot is headed. I have no idea. I'm assuming in the final book she will become queen of Terrasen and take down the king. I'm hoping she ends up with Dorian. Maybe she won't. And I'm assuming Rowan and Adian will be by her sides, as well as Kale will also be there. I really don't know. This series has me guessing because it doesn't really seem like there is a plot. And that's the tea. I'm really hoping we get another man because she's collecting these men like infinity stones. Baby, let's go. I hate these covers. She's still on the cover with a sword and the title is dumb. I hate it so much. Also, this title is reminding me of that Hadestown song where it's like, Queen of Shadows, Queen of Shades. Every time I like read the title, that's what's playing in my head. I think it's very interesting that these books are sort of making a comeback right now, because I'm not the only person that's like rereading these right now. And I guess it's sort of like a Sarah J. Maas like renaissance, because these books are not new. They came in like 2014, 2016. This one was 2015, so that's like back when I was in high school. And I didn't read them then, but I feel like a lot of people are reading them right now, which is really interesting. I'm assuming it's because of ACOTAR's popularity on TikTok. I'm wondering if these are considered better than ACOTAR or not, because I feel like ACOTAR is sort of going to be the same, but spicier, because I think they're the same length. They follow a fae girl, and there's many men in it. So I feel like this is like young adult, and then the other ones are like adults. We'll see. I'm going to read that series as well. But I did see on Instagram, this one girl I follow just read the whole series, and she said that the way she suggests you read the series is you read 1, 2, 3, and then Assassin's Blade, and then 4, and then 5 and 6 are apparently like tandem read, or you could read them together if you want, because one is Kale's perspective and one is Selena's perspective, which makes a lot of sense to me now, because the cover of Tower of Dawn, or whatever that says, doesn't have Selena on it, so I was a little confused why we finally broke the mold, so I guess that's why. However, I don't like Kale, and I don't want to read a whole book from his perspective, so we'll get to that, I guess. I don't know if I'm going to do the tandem read, because I don't really want to carry around 2 massive books with me on the subway. I feel like that would be such a mess to have to like read 2 chapters and then like switch and read the chapters again. I feel like that would be so annoying to do on the subway. Maybe I will not do that. However, she also suggested that you read Tower of Dawn first, but that's not how they were published, and that's not how the author recommends it, so I'm a little hesitant to do that. I'm gonna do some more forum reading before I decide if I'm gonna do that or not. I still have to finish this one, so no worries. But I am very excited because Empire of Storms literally just came in from the library for me. It was the only one I didn't have. I took all of them out at once because I'm crazy like that. Yeah, but so far, Assassin's Blade was my favorite, I think. Right? It's a beautiful spring day out today, so I think I'm gonna go read outside. And I will check in with you guys when I feel like updating you about this book. So it's Friday the 23rd, I think. This book is so painful to read. I am barely making it through yet again. I thought it would get better. I thought it was going to get better from here, but it hasn't. I've officially made it 200 pages in, pretty much, which is where I stopped the last time. And I sort of understand why. Like, nothing's happening and there's 600 pages? It's too much. I'm really not looking forward to the rest of the series, but I'm sticking it out. I'm pulling through, guys. We're gonna make it. I still believe that all their characters are so extremely flat. I just can't care about any of them. They're just so boring and, like, I don't know, there's no plot. I don't understand where the plot went, or, like, was there ever a plot? It doesn't seem like it. I also guess I imagined the tower falling. I remember reading that the tower fell, but I guess I just remembered the fact that the tower needs to fall, and I know it's going to, because how else is the plot gonna go along? Eventually, they're gonna knock over that tower. It's gonna be dramatic. And then magic will be free and she'll be able to do cool fire stuff. I don't know, but it's just like, until then, we just gotta suffer, I guess. Kale is insufferable. He's got his new girlfriend. I don't care about either of them. Yet again, Kale is like, Dorian, me. I just don't care. Meanwhile, Aelin is like, Dorian,
should die because he's being possessed and he's no longer there. And, like, we agree. I agree with Aelin. She should have killed him. It's sad, but it should have happened. From here, my plot predictions is that I'm thinking within this book, they're gonna knock the tower down. Or maybe they'll knock it down in Tower of Dawn? I don't really know. This one's called Queen of Shadows, so I'm assuming she's just gonna do a lot of queen stuff from the shadows. She's gonna build a following. I'm assuming Adian and Rowan are gonna meet by the end of this book. I'm, like, so positive that's gonna happen. And I'm sure they're gonna have a little, like, tiff because they're both gonna be like, I'm gonna protect her. I'm her protector. And then Ailen's gonna be like, I protect myself, guys, actually. Dorian is probably, hopefully, gonna break free. Maybe Kale will leave. That'd be nice. The man and witch girl is gonna become more witchy. I sort of feel like the witches are gonna, like, rebel and decide not to follow whatever King's orders and then, like, just go take over the waste. Because, like, what's stopping them? Absolutely nothing. They have their dragons now. Just go and take the waste back. I don't understand. That's another problem I've been having with these witches. They're described as, like, so terrible, but, like, we never see them really doing anything. They are taking orders so docilely. They don't have any witch powers, besides they're just, like, brutal, I guess, and they have these teeth and the claws. But, like, they have no powers, which I guess is because the magic disappeared, but I thought the magic would only disappear within this, like, triangle of towers, which I'm pretty positive the witch waste thing is outside of that triangle, so it shouldn't affect them. There's just so many freaking plot holes in this book. It's like Swiss cheese. They mentioned something about the witch eyes having gold rings around them, which makes me think that there's a correlation to Aelin. Also, Manon's hair is, like, silver yellow, which is also the color of Aelin's hair. Maybe there's a correlation there. I think this plot with the little servant girl is fun, interesting, I guess, because she has witch blood in her and she's from Terrasen. Maybe she'll end up joining the cause for Aelin. Maybe Manon will as well. I don't know. My most recent problem with the series, things that have been bugging me, and they're not even relevant currently, I just keep thinking about them and they just piss me off. Sam's name is so, like, not fantasy. It's so basic and modern that it bothers me. Everybody else in this entire freaking book has a weird fantasy name. The only exceptions being Dorian and Rowan are, like, vaguely normal names, but fantasy/oldish enough that they're like, okay, it makes sense in the fantasy world. Sam is not a fantasy name. It does not make sense in this book. No one else, not a singular person, has a normal name besides Sam. And it's not Samuel. Samuel would have made it, like, more okay, because I guess that's, like, sort of oldish, right? That's not, like, a normal, like, Sam is such a modern, like, nickname thing. My other problem that breaks the fantasy, if you will, the bathrooms. The bathrooms are driving me up a wall. It's a high fantasy world. They're wearing, like, corset dresses, they're using swords and knives. There's no guns, there's no telephones, there's no television, there's no, like, electronic things. There's no cars, there's no trains, like, there's no electronics, okay? And bathroom plumbing is also sort of, like, modern nicety, if you will, okay? And they're in these medieval castles, which I don't know if you've ever been to a medieval castle, but they didn't have bathrooms. They had chamber pots that they would throw out the window. Or if you were really rich, you had this little hallway thing that then had a hole that you, like, hovered over, and then you'd, like, poop down the hole, and it would just, like, fall 30 feet out, like, out the side of the castle. That's what castles had. And then bath-wise, they would, like, heat up a boiling little tub and put you in it like soup. Human soup. And that's how they bathed. Okay? Like, that's just how it was. In this fantasy world, she has, like, full, massive bathrooms. She's describing these, like, huge bathrooms that are, like, the size of her own bedroom. Which is, like, okay, luxury. I get it. I guess they're in a castle. That's fine, I guess. Like, high, super, super luxury in a castle. Okay, sure. I don't really understand why she would have that, being that she's just staying in, like, a guest room, and I wouldn't think the guest rooms would have something like that for, like, fit for a king, but whatever. But then she leaves the castle, and they're describing other places. So they're describing the keep, the assassin's keep. And the assassin's keep also, she has a private bathroom attached to her room. I'm like, okay, I guess the assassin's keep is really, really rich, and Arobyn's spending all this money on her. He's built her own personal bathroom attached to her room, because that's the luxury she's used to. So, okay, sure. And then we get to, in Assassin's Blade, she goes to a random tavern in a pirate port, and the tavern has a personal bathroom attached to the room, where the bedroom is described as having, like, literal cots for beds. This does not make sense. Why would they have a bathroom? They should not have a bathroom. They should not have a bathtub. It does not make sense to me. And then they're describing her apartment, which, like, okay, I guess she's, like, spending big bucks for a really nice apartment, but it's in a warehouse, and she has this luxury bathroom. It just bothers me. There's just, the bathrooms it doesn't make sense. It's a nicety, newness thing that just does not make sense in any context in this fantasy world, and I think that's my biggest pet peeve in the entire book series. We'll see. If the plot continues to make this much no sense, then maybe it'll be something else. But currently, these bathrooms are driving me up a wall. Anyway, she finally got Adian back, which was fun, exciting, I guess. Wasn't that exciting, to be quite honest, because I feel like they set it up for success. Now she has to go capture a Valg prince. I have problems with the Valg princes as well. When she first meets the Valgs in book 3, in the woods, when you get near them, there's just, like, immense darkness, and you smell gross stuff, and then you immediately see your worst fears, and you're so scared that you can't move, just from being close to one. And then they could soul suck you like a dementor. Okay, great. We also find out they can talk to you. They're sentient. They're from a different world. There's a bunch of them. We also find out, I don't know, that you could chop off their heads and they'll die, but they don't really die besides that. And that they're possessing humans. Okay, cool. Now, in this book, book number 4, 5, I don't know what I'm on anymore. There's Valgs just all over, roaming the streets. Okay, sure. But there's, like, black shadows in the sewers, which would then infer that, like, that means that they're really close, right? And you can't touch the shadow because then you'll immediately feel fear, right? But that never happens in this book so far. Also, she's, like, interacted with a few of them and she's not felt fear at all. So maybe she's just immune to them now, but, like, that just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And they're not discussing about, like, Kale and Nesserin and stuff also got close, and the rebels also got close to these Valg princes and didn't feel immense fear or smell the stuff or be enclosed in dark smoke. What are the rules of these Valg princes? It, like, doesn't seem to make sense. And then Dorian is supposedly being possessed by one currently, so you would think when she interacted with him, again, would have the same problem with the fear and stuff, and then Dorian would have to see her fears. That would be a very interesting scene of Dorian, like, trying to fight back the Valg, but then seeing all her greatest fears and, like, eating them or sucking them, whatever. But no, that's not what's happening in this book. I just, like, literally nothing in this book makes sense. Alright, well, I'm gonna go read, I guess, so I'll see you hopefully this weekend when I finish this book. Got 3 more, guys. 3 more. I'm almost there.
Almost done, maybe. I still have, like, 200 pages left. Almost done. But I did make some big progress. I also was looking at fan art today and spoiled stuff for me, which I'm a little disappointed about, but I'll just say it, I guess. Now we're all on the same page. I was looking at fan art, and I would like to say that Manon and Aelin look very similar. I don't know if they're described that way. I don't remember Aelin ever being described as, like, white blonde, like silver, but she's always depicted that way. Like, the covers even have her as, like, silver hair, but I always thought she was blonde. I feel like every time they describe her as, like, just blonde or, like, light blonde. Anyway, I was looking at pictures,
and there was this fan art, and it was like, I thought it was Aelin and Dorian. I was like, oh man, it's so exciting, we love that. And then I clicked on it, and it said Morian, or Manorian, or something. I don't know what the ship name is, but it's Dorian and Manon, and it was something about, like, I'm so glad Manorian happened. And I was like, no! I didn't even consider that ship. I'm not excited about that, but that definitely changes a lot of my theories. So this is where I'm at. I saw a lot of fan art of Aelin with Rowan. I am very convinced they're now endgame, which I'm disappointed about because I think it makes more sense plot arc-wise for her to end up with Dorian. Currently, from the fan arts that I looked at by accident, I saw that Rowan Aelin is gonna happen. I'm pretty positive now. Dorian Manon's happening, which I don't really want, didn't ask for. And then Lorcan Ilda? I don't really know how to say her name. I didn't even think about that. And then I guess there's also Kale and Nesserin, which I guess maybe is a thing, maybe won't be. Who knows? Maybe everyone gets happy endings, maybe they don't. I don't know. Ilda, I guess, is slowly becoming a more and more important character, which is fine. She's cool, whatever. Lorcan, though, I don't like. I do not like Lorcan. I think he is unredeemable. We'll see. I guess maybe he'll have a love in his life, and that will soften him, or some heterosexual nonsense. Who knows? All I do have to say is there's no queerness in this book. I mean, it was written in 2014 or whatever, which I guess it, like, wasn't normalized in literature then, but this book be lacking. That's all I gotta say. It's interesting because as I was reading the chapter that I just read, which I want to point out, the previous owner of this book, I bought all these books used back when I bought them, highlighted the bottom of all the sexy scenes in pink. So anytime there's like some pink highlight on the number, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be some Rowan Aelin sexy times. Well, not like sexy times, but like, I don't know, with flirting, extreme flirtation, or weird face stuff, like the one I just read, where she like exposed her neck to him and he bit and licked it. Okay. Whatever you're into, fam. But I was just thinking about it because while I was reading it, I was like, yeah, this really, I don't like this. But I was like, this is essentially just like vampire stuff. Like when I read Twilight, I was so into that. Something about this, it's not it. I don't know what it is, but it's off-putting and I don't like it. Maybe I should reread Twilight next. That would be a trip. This book still is just like a lot of nothing. It's a lot of setup for the war that's coming, which we all knew was gonna happen, but it's like everything that they're setting out to do, they're just doing it, which is really boring from a reading perspective. If we want to get into it, I feel like usually the author should like set up, oh, this is what the character wants to do. The character can't do that. They're hitting a wall. They can't complete it, and then eventually they get it done. She's just like doing everything. Which, good for her, but also that's boring to read. I am so bored. There's nothing happening in this book. The whole thing is set up, and then whenever there's, like, exciting stuff, it's like, you already knew it was gonna be a success. And none of the, like, exciting scenes are exciting either, so. I don't know what to say. She got to the city. She freed Adian. She befriended Lysandra. They caught a valg. They murdered Arabin and got all the money. A Rowan arrived in there somewhere. Lorcan showed up and she taunted him into getting information. Now Lorcan just approached them and was like, hey, I'll give you a deal. And they were like, we don't trust you, bro. And he was like, okay, bye. Which also doesn't make sense. Like, what does his character want? I'm so confused. I mean, I guess we're not supposed to know either, because it's like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I don't know. But like why is he there? He's just a plot device at this point. Maeve, we haven't heard of her. Who is she? Oh, she's not in this book at all. The King and Dorian also barely in this book. Kale also is just sort of there to be like, I'm grumpy and I hate Selena. That's all he's doing. It's so boring. Dorian's like just miserable and he's like, I can't get out of this prison. Kill me. And then who else do we have? Manon and Ilda. And Manon and Ilda, all the witches are just slowly kept being like, we're not humans though. We just like to murder people. And then they slowly become more and more human. is boring. It's so boring. And then we got the weird, like, witch baby valg thing. Don't like that. These are my predictions going forward. I have 200 pages left in the book. I'm fairly positive, actually, this is what's going to happen. Probably within the next couple of chapters. Aelin is gonna blow up the tower thing. She'll probably run into Dorian and try to break him out again. Maybe Dorian and her will have some words. I don't think she's gonna successfully get him, because I feel like the next book will be conflict between Dorian and her. It's all gonna happen at the same time, I'm pretty positive as well. So, like, we'll blow up the tower, the king will be mad, a bunch of people die. I don't really know if any of the important people are gonna die this book. I feel like Aedian's sort of expendable. Maybe he'll die. Nesrin might be if we want to be dramatic. I know Kale doesn't die. I don't think Dorian's gonna die. I don't think Rowan's gonna die either, because I'm pretty positive he's now at the endgame relationship. So I think they'll blow up the tower. There'll be a big battle. The king will be really upset. He'll awaken that valg king. He's not going to be able to handle the valg king. They're going to go to war. Kale is going to be on the fronts with all the rebels. Aelin's going to set up her base. Maybe not in Terrasen now, or maybe she'll claim Ardalan and push the king out. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Anyway, they're going to war, so the next book is definitely going to be a war book, which is going to be even more boring. I don't understand. When does it get good? Oh, maybe since it's called Tower of Dawn, that's when they destroy the tower? But she has fire powers on the cover of Empire Storm, which usually the cover is the starting Aelin, but I'm assuming the end result of the final book will be her being Queen of Terrasen with Rowan. Maybe she'll find out how to be immortal as well, because I feel like that's a problem that keeps coming up. I think Aedian will die. I'm sort of positive about it now, although she hasn't killed off any major characters, really. So maybe she won't. Maybe Ilda will die too. Hopefully Lorcan. Who knows? I'm sort of hoping, though, that Aedian gets to know his dad. That's a fun little plot that's happening. I'm interested in that. They're not talking about it that much, of course. Why not? They never talk about the interesting stuff. 3 more, guys. We're almost there. We did it, boys. We did it. I finished this book. Today is February 28th. I finished it, like, at midnight last night. It was a long day. That's all we're gonna say. I'm so upset. When does this book series get better? When? Because I just read 500 pages of setup for a battle, which was, like, fine. Nothing happens in this book until the last 100 pages. Nothing. I also don't understand why Lorcan is helping them. He has no reason to. I feel like... Explain? The plot makes no sense. None of the characters wants. There's no... Nothing makes sense. I don't understand. I'm so annoyed with the series. I'm so annoyed. I also am disgusted by the amount of times that she and they just referred to all the men as males. The males did this. I'm like, why are we talking? Why? Why'd you word it that way? I'm also still upset by Rowan and Aelin's weird mind talk thing. Don't like it. The end battle, I do admit, was fun. I liked it. Manon's plot is finally getting better, I guess, but not really. We'll see. But it's also obviously going to happen. Ilda's plot is getting more exciting, although that was obviously going to happen. Dorian, thank God. We love him. He's back. We love it. I can't believe they all left Dorian at the end, though. I can't believe they did that. The poor boy. Kale's plot, I guess he's sort of redeemed for me now. Like, he's let her go. He's trying to move on. He's trying to be with Nesrin, and that's great. And he went and did this brave, actually heroic thing, and, like, which is against his loyalty to the king, but for his loyalty to Dorian. So great. This is an interesting plot point that he's now paralyzed. I don't like how they're treating it, because they immediately were like, we'll fix this. But most people who become paralyzed aren't able to just go to some magic healers and become unparalyzed. So I'm not super psyched about that plot, and the fact that that's an entire book. I don't want to read Tower of Dawn. I still don't. I still don't like Kale as a character. So I've decided I'm doing the tandem read, right? I found it online, just Googled it. I'll link the one that I'm using down below. I did see one other version, which honestly might be better, but I'm using the one that I saw more often. A bunch of note cards every time I'm supposed to switch. I can't believe I'm about to read 2 600-page books at the same time, and then I have to lug this with me to work every day. But everybody was saying that you're supposed to read Empire of Storms first. That's like how it's written. You're supposed to do that. But they were saying that there's such a big cliffhanger at the end that you don't want to read Tower of Dawn next. And that also Tower of Dawn is boring and no one wants to read it because the favorite characters aren't in it. So I think it's just Nesrin and Kale in Tower of Dawn. And then Empire of Storms is going to be like Manon, maybe Dorian, and Aelin. I don't know why I just forgot her name. I'm gonna read it as a tandem read. I've never done a tandem read before. We'll see how this goes. So that's all I got for you today. I'm hoping to finish both of these by the end of this week. Anyway, I'm gonna go read, I guess. Bye. Hey guys, it's editor Amelia here, and I just wanted to announce that this is actually going to be a 5-part series now, because as I was editing it, I realized I talked a lot. So please stay tuned for the next part. It will be coming out next week. Bye!